Hi, Jason.
What did I walk into?
I said time to go lives, and I said Sharenda's not joining us because she's not feeling well. And I said, and I don't know if Jason's joining us. And as I said, Jason's joining us. Pop. All right.
Good timing. We're live, by the way.
I know we are. Where'd my
No, I know. I was telling Jason, not you, Mike.
Oh. I lost my primary arm sticker. Wow, that's no bueno. All right. Anyway. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. Hello. Welcome to the Reloading Podcast. No, I didn't want that, Jim.
Primary arms. Jim.
Take 3. Hello. Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Primary Arms. Also presented by, now you can, Jim. He was so excited because he didn't have it wrapped up for once.
Now
Patriot Patch Company.
Down. There we go.
So, how's everybody doing?
Doing
Good.
Look at my little darling riding a suppressed semi-automatic firearm, red boots and all.
That's a nice sighting system on that firearm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I agree. Magic wand and all.
Oh, so Andy's got a new video out, Andy79Z28. A full video on the Frankfurt Piledriver bullet puller. Says worth the watch. I would agree. All of Andy's videos are worth the watch. I'm grateful that he is part of our community and we're part of his. So make sure you check that out. Because the only thing I've really shown for the Piledriver is like the day we were talking about bullet pullers, and it wasn't really that fantastic a video. So eventually, at some point in time in my life, I will actually get time to start making videos, and someday. So, Lord willing, probably after I get a house and then I can not have to work 2 jobs. So, anyway, trying to think if there's anything exciting I did. No, not really. Paul, how about you?
I picked up a new scope, well used. I picked up a Burris 5 to 25 scope. It seems to be pretty good. It's lightly used, no ring marks on it. So that, and then the water heater went out. So yeah. So that's been my week.
That's no fun. So, did you replace it with another tank heater, or did you go tankless?
I have a hybrid water heater that's coming in right now. That's a small water heater is taking over for it until the hybrid water heater comes in. It had to be ordered.
Geothermal?
So, no, it uses it's got like a heat pump mounted on top of it, and it takes heat out of the air in the room, and then has a regular, the two heaters below it. I was going to go tankless, but this one says according to the government, how we all believe in what the government tells us.
Right.
My tankless was going to be $200 a year in cost to operate, and this one is supposed to be $100 a year to operate. So, well, they're both about the same price, $2,000. So, went with the new technology. So we'll see. Comes in next week.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully it
there
works
goes-
as advertised.
There goes my some of my gun money.
Right. Jen Champ Jr., send me an email, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com, and I will get you the Discord link. So, by the way, for those of you who use Signal, we actually started a Reloading Podcast chat on Signal just for fun. So, some people are on Signal, and I figured why not. So, but that's just a little extra fun we added. And Nick, what you been up to?
Not a ton. I did have some stuff come in. I had 500 projectiles in 30 for my 38 Smith & Wesson 3200 Webley loads. They're from a company called Bear Creek Supply. They're really nice, big projectile. Cast really nice. It looks like, and the price wasn't hard to beat.
Fancy.
Yeah, they're not. They're real nice. So I'll be doing a comparison video between those, and I also picked up a sample pack from Missouri Bullet Company. They're 145 grain, 361 diameter projectal.
Nice. I've heard good things about Missouri Bullet Company.
Yeah, I have some of their other projectiles for some other stuff. They're always been nice, good stuff. But those will be on an upcoming video, part 3 for the channel. Also
Nice.
got some dies. I went on an auction that'll be here hopefully later in the week, and picked up some 8x56 Steyr brass over the weekend, 100 pieces for half price. So
I didn't know you had an 8x56 Steyr.
I do.
Nice.
So yeah, it was. We went to a pawn shop. We actually went to a gun show, and then went to some of the sporting goods stores up in the area and that we go to. And one of the pawn shops had brand new PPU 100 pieces in the bag for like 50 piece price. I'm like, deal, buy it in a heartbeat. So
Nice.
that's about it.
Very good.
You can't beat that with a sharp stick. So, but Jim, what you been up to?
Not a single thing.
Well, how dare you slack?
Well, I'm always talking, but that's not. I don't think that counts.
Yeah.
Always boosting Second Amendment somehow or another.
Gotta.
Jason, you do anything this week in guns and reloading?
Mostly editing podcasts.
That counts.
Yeah.
I'm working on my third one right now. I'm almost done with it. And the contractor came out today for my reloading room build and told him where we wanted it. So stuff's going to start happening beginning of next week. Start grading, drilling holes. Posts are on back order. I don't know. He thought they'd be here in time, but he says you never know nowadays. And steel will have to be ordered. And I just ordered steel for another project I got for the roof, and it's 2 weeks out. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Bad.
We'll see. No, it's not bad. They have the product in-house. They just need to make it. They're just really busy because of people like me come in and go, oh, it's raining. I need a roof.
Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you.
Why are you drilling holes? You realize you're putting posts in, but explain that, please.
Pole barn.
Okay.
You familiar with a pole barn?
Absolutely. I've helped build them.
Okay. So
I'm talking about for the podcast listeners, Jason.
Oh, Sorry.
God.
Well, you're getting old, Jim, and I just don't know. Maybe you forgot what a hole is.
Jason?
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, they'll drill the holes. The roof structure actually sits on these poles buried in the ground, 4 feet, and then they just build the walls in between the posts, and then pour the concrete. And the concrete doesn't have anything to do with the structure. Basically, it's its own separate thing. A little bit cheaper to build. Not much. I'll tell you what. I'm spending almost as much on this shop that I did for my first house I bought. Pretty dang close.
Yeah.
Everything's silly expensive.
yeah. Totally agree. Inflation's driving us crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how much. What's the worst price you ever heard on brick primers? 500, 700
On a brick.
brick.
I
Well,
don't.
are you talking retail or highway robbery?
Yeah.
I saw them for $120 for a brick here locally. And the guy that was buying them, I said, "They got primers?" And he goes, "Yeah, but you got to take it dry first because you're going to pay 12 cents a piece." Ooh.
Take it
Oh,
dry.
You guys don't see dry or 12 cents a piece or what? What are you seeing?
13, on some $130, $135 for match
Okay.
primers. I've seen regular primers for about $85. Then you got to throw hazmat in on all of it. So, um, hopefully you can buy some powder or something along the same time so you can reduce the cost.
I can't get past
something.
the inflated cost of powder or primers right now. I look at them and just go, "That ain't for me." I guess my tune will change when I get short on something, though.
Yeah, they were running anywhere from $95 to I think $120 at the gun show for a brick. So
That means prices like that mean primers are $600 a case.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
you're
blue
pointing.
profanity that's coming out of my brain.
Well, guys, we Vivitor Tory powders have always been, $45 a pound. So everything is going to be in that range now.
Yeah, $50 a pound for frickin' Varget.
Yeah. I saw now the other day, Powder Valley had Varget on sale for call it 317 for an 8-pounder. So that isn't bad.
That's almost $4. $40 a pound.
Right.
But that's twice the cost of what we were just seeing it not too long ago, Paul. That's where I'm coming from.
Not too long ago was 180, 190, for an 8-pounder. Okay. And it is what it's going to be. It's, I don't see us going down in price, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
At least not way the economy is and the way material is, our base material cost. I mean, if you look the other day, we had Spear on, and they're trying to get away from forming jackets by electroplating bullets. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It sure as hell is a lot cheaper to do that than it is to form the disc and spread it through with a die and anneal it and everything else to get it ready to drop a lead core in.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't see it really getting better. So
no, I don't either. I mean, I really, I was thinking that we're going to see primers stop at about $65, and they blew right past it.
yeah.
You know.
They seem to have stabilized at their price right now, though.
Right.
At least as far as
Yeah.
Cabela's goes, it's pretty much about $90 a thousand.
Yeah, 85
Right
to
now.
$90. Yeah,
And then your premiums are 110 to
120.
140.
Yeah.
So,
Don't
so I want to take a moment and have a moment's silence for our Canuckian friends,
Yes.
because they really took it dry over the last week. If they're lucky enough to have handguns, for now they get to keep them.
Yeah.
But there is no selling, there is no purchasing, there's no trading, there is no transferring whatsoever for any handgun in Canada, period. So, I don't know if they're going to be able to, if this is going to be the motivation that they need to get the election to change. But, I just wanted to point that out, because elections have consequences, ladies and gentlemen. And just because, as I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and we were talking about the bump stock ban. Oh, well, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't affect me. So let's have a little history lesson quick. Assault weapons ban of 1994. A lot of people said, oh, that's just black rifles. That doesn't bother me. Until they found out it included 1022s. And if the current anti-gun proponents push hard enough and get what they want, you can kiss all your handguns goodbye in the lovely United States, and basically any semi-automatic firearm. So that includes all of your grandpa's beloved 760s and 7400s and Winchester 100s. So yeah, it's kind of crunch time here. So I don't get political a lot, but we're 2 weeks from the elections. So wake up, pay attention. Just because you don't shoot it doesn't mean it doesn't affect you. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox. So
Sorry.
has everybody talked about what they've been doing?
I think we covered everybody.
Yeah, I just want to double check, make sure. And then I know you're talking about primers and powder price. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's stabilized as far as primers. Powder, however, continues to skyrocket. So, and seeing as how, I don't even know. Is there any powder made in the States? I don't think there is there?
I kind of don't think so.
So, I mean, literally every grain of powder that we load and shoot came from somewhere else and got shipped in.
St. Mark's in Florida makes ball powder.
There you go.
I think won't GoEx, once they get the plant back up in Louisiana, still be produced for black powder wise?
Yeah. If they can get past OSHA.
That's the big thing. I'm interested to see what the new company does with that.
Well, we kind of covered that a little bit in the interview. Not much, but just a little bit. So.
Yeah, There are still powder manufacturers here in the United States, but they work for the
Government.
government. Yeah, government.
So we'd be looking at powder pull downs and
Right.
in that event.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just cheaper for the government to make it for itself.
Yeah.
Even though they have companies running their
Ammo manufacturing.
Manufacturing plants, boys and girls. I mean, it's you still have to make powder for them 105s and them 30 millimeters and them 155s and all that kind of stuff still has to be made, and they don't go overseas for there's this law that says we can't go overseas for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when in Illinois, Joliet used to manufacture. Joliet Arsenal used to manufacture powder and load ammunition for it. I mean,
Yeah.
shells and that kind of stuff. And there are other places throughout the United States that have facilities that still do it. So,
Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of looking for some help in powder.
well, I mean, we can always, switch to Norma and Vivitori, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the prices are pretty much the same now, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I used to sit down and say, I'm not going to buy Vivitori because it's, $50 a pound.
Right.
Well, now it's $50 a pound still, and so is Barget. So, okay,
Right.
now it's a viable choice.
Yep.
I did use 3N38 in my 38 Supers for a long time because it was a good load, but it still hurt when you got to reload with $50 a pound.
Right. So
$50 a pound. You think twice about busting caps.
You had to practice.
Amen.
Okay. And, it was just like shooting trap. I mean, it wasn't so much the powder and the wads and the shell and the cases. It was the damn lead that you had to buy.
right.
So, and you tried every way and to buy lead cheap. In other words, you get 6 or 7 guys together and you buy a ton or ton and a half or whatever of lead, and that's how you did it.
Yep. So here's a question. Black powder you can make yourself. Is it theoretically possible to make smokeless yourself?
Yeah.
Or is it just so absurdly impractical that
you're dealing with two items that you have to get a hold of that makes it hard, and that's either the nitroglycerin or nitrocellulose. So those are the two things that
well, isn't the nitroglycerin the same nitro that they use for heart medicine?
yes and no. It's a whole lot more potent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. and then it's getting the machines to form what you want it to do. In other
Right.
words, in order to
Extrude it or flake or
extrude it or flake or ball powder it, that's the harder part. And having a safe carrier to do it, so when it comes out and gets cut or rolled or flaked,
Yeah.
that it doesn't have little issues.
Mhm.
And nitrocellulose is safer to handle than nitroglycerin.
Mhm.
So that would be the issue is still getting a hold of the baser elements.
Yeah. Yeah. So not very practical.
No.
So
Isn't nitrocellulose made by dissolving cotton wool into nitric acid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah.
so it could be done.
Say what?
Never mind.
Okay, Jim, you work on that part.
No, thanks. Like Paul said, the nitric acid is hard to get a hold of even.
Probably not. In large quantities, it's hard to get a hold of.
Here's a funny one. I go highlight. Good one, Zeke. I like that. Yeah, I do some shitty things, but I don't think I want to try smokeless.
No, not at all. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the process, so yeah, no thanks.
In reality, smokeless is safer to make than black powder. Okay,
Right.
It's
Agreed.
just that you have to have some way to extrude the powder. You're not going to use your sausage stuffing machine to extrude out your smokeless powder, and then getting the right quantities and of the inert items that go with it, and the retard coatings that they put on it, so it burns at the right rate.
Right.
Better still, what about the testing equipment to test this powder? The pressure barrels and stuff that you would need.
You can buy that. That's not hard. You can go out and buy that.
Yeah, they make pressure testing equipment you can buy, and they make pressure barrels you can buy.
You don't
Ray's
even
got
have
an
to
idea. He said he's got an old Play-Doh extruder. There we go. Game on.
Yeah.
He does.
Must have been Nick's. I muted you a while ago, Nick, when your phone was chirping at you.
So
Paul
Loud,
no.
you missed that. I just asked that question.
Yeah.
Slacker.
Yeah.
So
doesn't have enough nitroglycerin in it.
Anyway. All right, gang. So Sharonda and I sat down with Chris from Hodgdon a couple weeks ago. We were gonna air this last week, which would have been the following show, but then joining us today, Chris. Why don't we start with pain in the butt? Okay, so let me finish that intro, and then we'll add it back so it actually, because it doesn't want to stop. It just wants to play. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, we were gonna play it for you all last week, but we were able to get Spear on, so that pushed that back. So Chris was actually on vacation and took time out of his vacation to reach out to us. So
Nice.
And so yeah, it was a lot of fun and good conversation. So we're just gonna play that, and we can comment in the chat. So otherwise, we're all gonna be muted. Mike yelling at his past self is rather entertaining. Nice. Kind of talking about Hi, today we've got Chris Hodgdon from Hodgdon Powders joining us today. Chris, why don't we start with I know it's your 75th anniversary this year, so that's a big thing. I know that we've had you on before, and you've kind of talked about the history and how the family got into it. But if you just want to kind of give a brief overview, if you can kind of do that, 75 years in a brief thing.
Well, sure. So my grandfather was the founder of the company in 1947, fresh out of World War II. He was in the Navy, and he bought actually 50,000 pounds of government surplus 48.95 from the government. And he had been reloading before that for his friends as a hobby. And he actually, when he got out of the Navy, got into a full-time, his daytime job was working, selling appliances. And so that really interesting there, just a side note, he was selling all these appliances and outselling his boss, right? And so his boss cut his territory, and Granddad still outsold his boss, and he was wearing ties every day to work, and he absolutely despised doing that too. And he said this was in the early 50s. He'd already started the company as a part-time thing, but so he got so disgusted with his boss, then he quit. And he said, when I get this company going, I'm never going to wear a tie again. So anyway, the rest is history. That was about 1952. That's when he jumped in full time. My dad and my uncle were integral, obviously, in building the company to what it is today. And my grandmother did all of the book work. She answered the phone. She swept the floors. So it was a truly family business in those early days. And government surplus powder was inexpensive, and it was a new concept really to reloaders then. It was the newly manufactured powder at the time was a whole lot more expensive. So this government surplus was a quite a bit significant cheaper alternative. And my grandfather went on the road around the country along with John Nosler, Fred Huntington, who started RCBS, and others there. He went around the country and they set up these huge tents, and they would go from city to city and invite people in, sportsmen and women, to come in and watch how they reload. They made it into a big event. And so this was really the early days of reloading, and promoted it that way, the grassroots part of it. And that's really how it got built into what it is today. My uncle and my dad, throughout high school and into college, they would take these big kegs of powder, surplus powder, on these orders, and go down to the railroad yard, and then they drop the kegs off at the railroad yard and go on to school. So they did all the heavy lifting pretty much, and they took over the company in the late 70s. And the powder company was pretty well established by then. Obviously, we went through a lot of hard times in the late 70s and on into the early 80s. Back when interest rates were 21%, we were near bankruptcy at that time, and they actually went to see bankruptcy attorneys, and these attorneys told them, we just don't see a future for your company. And they encouraged them to spend it all on houses and whatever else. And my dad and my uncle JB, they just, Bob is my dad's name, they just decided, we're going to stick this out. and we're going to live on our savings. This was in the early days of Pyrodex, the muzzleloading powder. We manufactured that, and we had a series of accidents and all kinds of issues going on there. And so, but we really started to come around in the late 80s with that Pyrodex product. More and more states were adding muzzleloading deer seasons, so that helped us. But all along, we'd been selling, smokeless powders to reloaders, and we really started to take off in the mid 90s. Our company is interesting. As a side note, our company was we started tithing about 1997, and at that time, our company took off to new heights, and it's no small thing. That in 1997 and 1998, when we started tithing, the good Lord blessed our company, and it keeps blessing us each and every year since. And so we've grown significantly over the past 20 years for sure. We've come out with innovative products in the marketplace, as you know about, Mike, and to reloaders, all kinds of different kinds of smokeless powders that are the best quality and the top technology powders on the market for reloaders. And our muzzleloading products also continue to evolve into better technology. We are growing significantly. We acquired Western Accurate Powders in 2020, late 2020, and it has really been a significant acquisition for us, and has grown our market share, and so we are supplying more and more factory ammunition manufacturers through our OEM programs. But our bread and butter, I should say, is really the hand loader, is the rifle, pistol, and shot shell reloaders. Without a doubt, that is where our company is best at. So we continue to develop new cartridge data at a significantly high rate. And we have two labs now. We have the one in Montana through the Accurate acquisition, and the one in Harrington, which is where our manufacturing is. So we have a top-notch customer service. We continue to do that. We are taking care of our employees. All of our team members profit share also in our company, and so we have long-term employees, as you can imagine. So our company is in a good place right now.
It's awesome to hear, and excuse me. It's awesome to hear, and it's also awesome personally to hear, about the tithing part and how that benefited.
Yeah.
And you don't hear a lot of mainstream companies talk about faith and how that intertwines. So that's awesome to see that and to hear that. The Accurate. I can definitely tell that's been a big thing. I work for Cabela's part-time, and we've started to get a lot of Accurate powders in now. Mm-hmm. So it's which we hadn't seen. So that's kind of a nice thing to see there. Overall, how is production going?
Well, we've had our challenges like every manufacturer in the country this past year. The raw materials, the challenges to overcapacity that we're having to deal with, the vendors that we buy from and buy through are primarily geared toward military, and so the military market comes first, and then the civilian market, like ours. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. We can't do anything about that, but we do. We've gotten a really good amount of bulk powders this year, especially from our Australian vendor. which has worked out really well. The biggest issue that we're having to deal with is transportation. Like every manufacturer, we're scrambling to try and find both incoming and outgoing transportation. Everything is going up in price. Our raw materials are going up in price. So we're having to deal with that, and we're still, we try to be as price conscious as possible, because we know our customers obviously do come first, and we try to keep those prices as reasonable as we can. But we can't, like everyone else in the marketplace, as manufacturers, we have to pass along the higher costs to our customers. So, but we certainly are very aware that reloading is significantly less expensive right now than factory ammunition on the whole. So we want to try and keep it that way.
We appreciate that.
Definitely.
So one of the big things that y'all came out with a few years ago was the Enduron line of powders, and now you're discontinuing that. Just kind of wondering what the thought process was behind discontinuing that.
Well, the vendor that we're dealing with there that manufactures that certain powder it's a difficult, obviously it's a very difficult decision for that to happen. The raw materials that they have to deal with that make that particular kind of powder, they're not able to access. So
Okay.
That's really the sum of it. And we don't like to discontinue any powder in our line. So that was obviously, again.
Oh, did we lose them? Oh, okay.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. Quick question. I am the newest to reloading on the panel. I am still learning from these guys every day, but in situations such as this, when it's just not easy for the companies that you deal with to make powder, is this something that will possibly be brought back in on the market if those products were to become available again?
Well, the ones we're talking about, the IMR and Enduron powders, probably not. There are our Australian manufactured Hodgdon Extreme line that does virtually the same thing as the Enduron line. It is hot and cold, temperature stable powders. And really, we were the first to introduce that to the marketplace back in the late 90s. And so those extreme powders on the Hodgdon line will do a lot of the same functions as this Enduron line. So there are alternatives, is what I'm saying, that are available. And so we will continue to push hard to get those extreme Hodgdon powders out there into the marketplace. And so there won't be a letdown there.
Okay. One of the things that I think stands out to me, and I don't know if it's because it's more visible because you guys are in my home area, but when you mentioned that you guys tied, I've also noticed even before I got into reloading that not only do you tied based off your religion and belief, but you tied a lot back into the 2A community. I've seen it on a large scale and I've seen it on a smaller scale. Just recently, I know there is a local shoot for breast cancer awareness, and you guys were generous enough to provide the lunch for that day. And I don't think a lot of consumers realize that not only are you guys in the business of making money and providing products, but you give back way more to your community than you guys ever share or even make mention of. So I just personally want to say thank you for that, because even those, I think that's what's important, is that you show your support, not just for making profit, but for the sports industry, for the hunting industry, for youth, for mentoring, for women. So I definitely want to make mention of that and say thank you for that as well.
Thank you, Sharonda. That's very kind of you, and we need to continue to support, our local community. We support the Boy Scouts, 4-H, the Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation, that are all local. They have local teams, local youth. So we're big on that, and we also are very big on supporting national organizations like the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the NRA. So we'll continue to do that. That's part of our mission. It's our passion. We want to reinvest in our community and support our country the best way we know how. Many of the ministries that we support through our foundation, through our tithing, is for feeding folks, for orphans, for widows, what we're commanded to do through the Bible. So that's exactly what we do. We're trying to make a kingdom impact with what we do with a lot of ministries, and so we'll continue to do that as far as the Lord has blessed us.
Once again, thank you, because even making an effort on a smaller local scale, to me, speaks volumes. It's not just about the national notoriety. So I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. You bet. You bet.
Speaking of impact on a local scale, you launched a program a couple of years ago we talked about briefly, and just kind of wanted to see how that's going. How's the road show going?
Really, like everything else through COVID, we didn't do much there, but we're starting to fire that. We're starting to fire that up again at various sites across the country. We try to do our best to list them on our website to where we are on those road shows. But that's how we promote, obviously, reloading in general. What we try to do there is to get as many folks interested, obviously, in reloading. We basically show them the highlights. It's a high level 70,000 foot view of reloading, and we have our roadshow instructors out there that just show the reloading. We don't actually have them come in and do their hands-on part of it, but we want to get them interested by watching. And so that's the main purpose of these road shows, is to promote reloading in general. We're just very grateful for our industry partners there on that. We try to get into different gun shows and local venues as possible with our road shows. And if there's an individual out there that's interested in reloading, or a gun shop owner, and that would be interested in having a reloading road show come to their place, we can try and set that up. Kent Sakamoto, that works for us, he is involved in that part of our business, and so we can surely pass along that information if need be.
And I can attest to that. I'm also work with Kent and do reload show segments through Wilderness.
Oh, great.
On a demo.
Oh, great.
And
Excellent.
I had to mention that with the ladies. I'm like, I'll start seeing an increase. I'm like, if you guys have to go out and hunt for primers, think about how it is for the instructors doing the reloading show. So
You're right, right.
Yeah. So is it okay if we share like Kent's email if people want to get involved?
Sure, sure.
Okay. We'll post that in the show
It's,
notes for this.
Yeah, we'll get that to you. Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, because it's definitely an awesome program, and yeah, unfortunately, it was kind of one of those things that, you know, it's an in-person thing, and so with COVID, yeah, like a lot of things, it kind of wasn't able to happen. I see you. I did see on the website you've been getting some going and stuff, and it's exciting. So it's definitely trying to get more people involved in reloading. You know, some people have asked me, why are you trying to get more people involved in reloading when you can't find components? I said, components are coming back, but the thing is, if we're not there to support the industry as consumers, then these companies that are fighting hard are going to look and go, well, why are we fighting hard when we're not able to do what we're trying to do, which is, you know, ultimately everybody's, you know, I mean, everything else, but ultimately everybody's in business to make a profit. And if you're not making a profit, then kind of defeats the purpose of being business, unless you're a nonprofit. But and so that's why, you know, we need to get more people involved to make it a stronger sport. And so far, not to delve deep into the political rain, but so far the antis have left reloading alone for the most part. At some point in time that will change, and the more strength we have, the better we're able to deal with that. So that's kind of
right. Exactly.
But
very well said.
Thank you. That's one of those that I had to sit down and think about for a bit before. So what's next? I did see a brief blurb about a couple of new powders that are being released, but I wanted to let you kind of talk about that.
Sure. We're going to be extending our Winchester stay ball line next year. There's 2 new powders that are going to be introduced for that. They're slower burning stay ball powders that have been, you know, we try and do our best to listen to our customers, and they've been asking about a new stay ball type powder. We've been very successful with the 6.5 stay ball powder. And what it does is it's very similar to our Hodgdon extruded extreme line in that it is temperature insensitive, but just going back, it's taking a step back, is that ball powders or spherical type powders tend to be a lot more temperature sensitive. And until we introduced Winchester stay ball powders. Now the stay ball powder is a ball type powder, but it is temperature insensitive, and so that was a new concept. And the wonderful thing about ball type powders or spherical powders is that obviously they're going to meter easier, right? And they're going to just flow through your meter beautifully.
Exactly.
And so that's the advantage over the stick type powders, the extruded type powders. So anyway, we're going to be introducing these 2 new stay ball powders in January that are going to be well suited for Magnum type cartridges, and so we're very excited about them, and we'll be introducing them around the SHOT Show time, which is mid January or so. So the reloaders will be able to get their hands on it probably early spring. We will have it in stock and ready to go. Yep.
Awesome. That's definitely exciting.
and
yeah,
our
that's
data
kinda,
too. Yeah,
it's exciting because
I was just going
it's.
to say our data.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, Mike. I was just going to say our data for those two powders will be online, of course, in our reloading data center, and we will have our new 2023 annual manual out on newsstands late December, and you'll be able to pick it up at the newsstand at your local convenience store, grocery store, whatever, anytime, for sure in January. And we'll have all the new powders in there. We've also added shot shell data, which it has been, 15 years since we've had shot shell data in our annual manual. So we'll have that in this new one this year coming up.
That's excellent to hear. Because that's a nice thing to have. Because sometimes you just don't have, internet access, so you just don't have that option to hop onto the data center, which is an amazing tool. So,
well, the nice thing about the annual manual is we have so many wonderful articles about the latest shooting trends and components and cartridges and powders, and we'll have some articles in there about the new stay ball powders. So that's a given, and a lot of our customers want actually a printed page to lay out on their reloading bench, right? And so
right.
That's exactly what we do with this annual manual. It's updated. It's the most comprehensive manual on the market, and we do it every year. We've been doing it, for 20 some years. So this is a wonderful manual. It's for purchase, and we also have the basic manual. It's at a very minimal price, and it's got just the, it looks like this. It's just a smaller manual, and it's available for nearly no cost. We just need to pay the shipping and handling. So this is an example of an annual manual, and you can kind of see the cover. So it's got rifle, pistol, and now shot shell data, and it got all kinds of articles in here. So it's definitely worth picking up on the newsstand. And like I said, it'll have the new stay ball powders in there.
Yeah, it's definitely a good resource. I've got a couple of them. I didn't get 22s yet, so I should probably get off the schneid and get that. But yeah, definitely a great resource. Anything else? So obviously I have to ask the pertinent question that everybody asks me. Where's Varget? I know you've got it on your website. I've seen that, but the two most popular powders that I always get asked about are Varget and H4350. Obviously because of the cartridges that they comment. So has there been any focus on maybe getting more of that versus other lines, or is it just kind of
it's definitely
it comes?
supply and it's supply and demand, obviously, but I can tell you that there is relief. Between now and the end of the year, you ought to see you'll be seeing plenty of Varget on the market. We have a good supply of it that we're sending out the door every day. So I would be looking for it at your local gun store. So we should be in pretty good shape by the end of the year for sure.
Awesome to hear. So we've got the new stay balls coming out beginning of the year. Any other changes, improvements that you've got between now and then?
Well, really for us, it's been like a lot of our friends in the industry is just keeping up with demand, and we're trying to do our best to resource and sell as much powder as we can. We know that some of the market is pretty full right now with 9mm and 223. We're starting to see a good supply of that on the market now, but you know, the still the most rifle cartridges, that ammo is hard to find, and that's the same thing if you want to reload. There's plenty of opportunity out there to reload, but we're making a concerted effort to get as much powder out in the market as possible throughout the rest of this year and next year. You know, a lot of times your favorite powder may not be available at the moment, but you know, with our IMR, Hodgdon, Winchester lines, and Accurate and Ramshot lines, there are a lot of powders that will do the same thing as maybe your favorite. You know, say your say 4350, H4350. You may want to look at Accurate 4350 or IMR 4350. They're not the same powders, but they will do a lot of the same things. You just got to stay true to the data, obviously. So I would recommend that if you're having issues finding your favorite. Again, you know, there's a lot of cross references in our data that you'll be able to find the same powder in one of our other brands that may do the same thing. And then, you know, eventually your favorite powder will definitely be available on the market. Probably next year will be probably the best year of many to find as much as you need. We would think that most components will be in pretty good supply next year also.
One last question for me. I was curious if in the future, we could possibly maybe have one of the pro staffers come on and do a little QA on how reloading is critical for them in some of their competition matches, and how they compare their reloads to some factory loads.
Sure, that'd be good. Would you think, you know, the interesting thing also about Hodgdon is most of the people in our family, I call them family, that work for us. Most of the people in our family are reloaders, hunters, and shooters, and so you know, one of our customer service reps, maybe Jason Waller, he's a perfect example, could come on and talk about long distance shooting and talk about you know, what he does out in the field with his high power shooting competitions, and what kind of loads he does, and all of the nuances that he uses in the field to compete with. And so that might be an option. I might want to suggest I can sure help you connect there.
Jason will be, yeah, Jason will be great. Like Jason's kind of like a hidden font, because he's also, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, he's also a fireman. So he gives information from a great perspective on even storing your powders. And I would love to have Jason on.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'll be sure and reach out to him.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So switching from the smokeless side to the black powder side, how are things sitting with the GoX acquisition?
Well, we actually with GoX, we sold that division off in January.
Okay.
there was a it was a very difficult decision for us.
Yeah.
It just got to the point to where it got to the point to where it was a business decision.
Right.
That you know was there's a lot of reasons for that, and we basically safety comes first for our team, our family, and that was the biggest reason. And we didn't want anybody to get hurt. And black powder is an entirely different animal to manufacture.
Yeah.
It is so much more volatile than smokeless powder. It's not even
Right.
close. So that's the main reason why we let go of GoX. We are concentrating on improving all the time all of our Pyrodex 777 products, our pellets. Our Blackhorn 209 is still a it is a top quality product that is there's way more demand than our supply there also.
Yeah, that is by far. I personally am in love with 777. I started out with the regular Pyrodex and then switched to the 777 when it came out, and I've stopped there. I know there's a lot of people that use white hots, which are supposed to be the next evolution, but yeah, the big thing that we always get, you got any Blackhorn? Got any Blackhorn? When are you getting Blackhorn? When are you getting Blackhorn? So, but it's because it's such a unique, it's not like 777 where you can go back and use the Pyrodex, or the Pyrodex you can switch to the 777. It's such a unique powder overall, black powder, that substitute, that it just has its own little niche, and there's not really, once you get used to using that, there isn't really, from my understanding, there isn't really anything that is comparable as far as overall use. Are you looking at maybe coming up with something that's to help substitute, like you do with your smokeless powders, where if you don't have powder A, you've got powder B you can use, and even with like the 777 and the white hots and the Pyrodex stuff?
Well, we've got a lot of things we're looking at in the R&D side. That's what you're talking about. And right now, for the short term, we're just trying to access as much Blackhorn 209 as possible, and it's really difficult for us to get enough to supply the market. So that's what we're primarily concentrating on. But we are investing in R&D projects to improve that product and or develop new muzzle loading powders all the time. So we came out a couple years ago with the Starfire pellets, and I've been very pleased with those myself personally. I just got a deer in mid-September with muzzleloader and using those, so I'm pretty high on those. They're awesome.
Congratulations on that.
7 Starfires. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. Any last things you want to share before we let you go?
Well, I just want to thank all of our customers. We highly value your business for these past 75 years, and without you, we wouldn't have made it through these many years. So we just want to pass that along to say thank you. All of our family of coworkers and all of the Hodgdon family thanks you. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Chris, for joining us today, and we appreciate you having to be able to take time out of your busy schedule to join us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
an interesting discussion there.
Yeah.
Says we're going to have powder by the end of the year. Basically.
Yep.
It's going to be, again, with the as we look at it, the $5 a plus a gallon diesel fuel is not helping either getting him the powder or the distribution of the powder.
Nope.
So we have in 2 weeks we can make a change, guys.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, a little bit of positive news. So.
Yeah. And I can understand, if you can't get the supplies to make the Enduron, again, he's having it manufactured by somebody.
Yeah.
And basically Hodgdon has things manufactured for him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, like I was telling Chris in the video, I mean, we've seen a lot of the accurate stuff. Yeah, the price is still high. So I don't anticipate powder going down much, if at all. So
how can it go down when you got $5 a gallon diesel fuel to get it out there? I mean, really?
Yeah. Yep.
There's just you got to get it. You got to get it to him, and then you got to get it. He's got to package it, put it together, and then get it out to us.
Yep.
And they don't. I guarantee you, they don't fly it over on airplanes. Okay?
Oh heck no. Yeah, no kidding.
So it's coming over by a slow boat.
Yep.
And they are not packaging it for him. He comes in and packages it, and it goes that way. So
yeah.
And I always thought it was 4831 is what Grandpa started with. I didn't know it was 4895. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's cool to be able to kind of get to peek behind the curtain. You know? So, and hear, honesty about, all the things they're doing, especially, their faith and how that plays in. You don't hear that from a lot of companies. Even if it's true, you don't hear it. So, but Jorgen said, "I'm imagining sea cans full of H4350 now." Thanks a lot.
They broke some out for a while there, Jorgen. So I know on the Canuckian side they may not get it, but we had some here for a while.
Yeah, we got 1 8-pound keg of H4350, and I think an employee got to it before it ever hit the floor. So,
at what price?
I didn't even look.
Okay.
I knew it was going to be ridiculously absurd. Didn't even bother to check. So, let's see here. As I'm delving back into my pictures, because that's ammo. They took a picture of powder a couple weeks ago. And as soon as I find it, I guess not. But
Well, the other thing is, and we've got Head Spear on. He's having problems getting base metals to make his
Yeah.
product and get it out. So here we are. There's this problem of getting the base materials to manufacture anything. I mean, that's what basically is what they said is between the manufacturing and the transportation is next to impossible, and that's what we're looking at. It didn't help that Trump gave away $1,000 a person, so they did, and the unemployment was, it was cheaper to go. It was better off for you to go on unemployment than to work. We and how can a trucker make money at with an independent trucker at $5 a gallon diesel fuel? Idaho Rogers should tell us what it's going.
Yeah, that's comment in there about fuel oil and that cost. Yeah, that's so it's gonna get worse. I know I hate saying that, but
Jason's gonna have to put another tank up at his house, so he can put regular fuel in it.
I'm looking.
I figured as much. The red tank isn't bad. You got the antibacterial stuff to put in there to keep it from growing mold.
I did.
Okay. So, and how's the grape picking going?
We finished.
Oh, you finished. Okay.
I don't know how many bushels that was, Paul, but I didn't know grapevines could produce so many grapes. Holy crap.
Yeah. And I didn't know that you had your wife's trainer out there with you.
She stopped by for a quick visit.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't pass up the chance to take a picture and say something smart I like about her.
Right. So no prices on the website for H4350 for an 8-pounder, but a single pound is 50. So, but let's see here. What else did I find? So IMR 4350 is $375. $374.99 for 8 pounds of powder. Yeah. Excuse me. Anyway.
Oh, EP Integrations is on watching us. That's something I should have mentioned. I emailed them and asked them if they had a veterans discount, and he said they do. I got to email him my DD214.
Awesome.
Because I want to get me an annealer.
There you go.
I got mine right there, Jason.
Nice. How do you like it?
Love it. That's
good.
It's worth every dollar we spent on it. So
John's hand loading said, "Good night, everyone. Nice to be here tonight. The beatings will continue until morale improves. The problem is, John, we like the beatings, so morale's going to continue to suck."
Powder Valley has got 1-pounders for $45 of H4350.
Yep.
They sold out of 8-pounders, and their 8-pounders $316 for an 8-pounder. So that's just a quickie there, guys. But they do have it in
Ouch.
stock.
Yeah, I saw Varget and H4350 over the weekend. I think the Varget was like $48 a pound. I think the H4350 was about $45, $46 a pound.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, just
And
I look at it right now. The most I will pay for a pound of powder is about $40 because there's some powder that I need for some of my oddball cartridges that I'll pay that, but it's rare I do that.
Thankfully, I have enough different powders up there that I can find something. So that's kind of the advantage I have, especially because I was buying up. I ran across a couple of, hey, I've got a few pounds of powder I'm getting rid of. We can sell them to you for blah blah blah, and you get some oddball stuff in there. But like when we did the conversion, I didn't even know I could use that accurate for 223. So, but I was planning on using Varget that night, and then Paul said you can use that. I'm like, well, let's use this instead. So, but so.
even I'm looking around real quick, and I can buy some Vivitori powders cheaper than I can buy some Hodgdon powders. Okay. So that's
Makes sense with the current situation.
Yeah.
Because you're not shipping it from port to production facility and then out to your distribution centers. You're just shipping it from port to distribution centers. So, but well, gang, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for tonight. Make sure you swing over to Primary Arms and check them out. They got all sorts of cool stuff over there. Right now, they got the Halloween sale going on. So, Anderson strip blowers for $39.99. Buy them cheap, stack them deep.
Buy them now.
Right?
You won't have to report them in November. December.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have anything.
That's right.
They got some RCBS Matchmaster dies in stock. Looks like their bullet selection's coming back. So, but yeah, they got. I didn't even know they had a blem section. Where's that go? So if you click on the main page, you'll see the sale clearance. You click on that, and then you choose clearance, and then they've got a PA blems deal where they've got deals on some of their optics and stuff. So they're blem optics. But yeah, otherwise they got open box deals, warehouse overstock, and other stock clearance stuff. So some of this looks like it's pretty good pricing. I'm a clearance whore. I'm a garage sale whore too.
Well,
my wife hates driving me during garage sale season because I always want to stop. So, what were you saying now, Paul?
Garage sale find, okay?
Yep.
It was local by me.
Nice.
5 to 25 versus Veracity. It's a 30 millimeter tube, under $300.
Yeah.
And every place I look for it, they're 700. So I ain't complaining. Other than the problem, it's only got 25 minutes of elevation in it.
Well, you just need to get yourself a couple of 20 MOA adapters.
Yeah.
There you go. So, thank you, EP Integrations. Everybody who's watching live, make sure you look at the screen right now. So, but
Yeah, it's a great annealer. If you've been thinking about biting the bullet on a annealer, it's worth it. It's one of the best ones I've played with, around with, and that's not me just saying it.
no, I don't have an annealer currently. When I get to that point, that's the one I'm getting. Because everybody I've talked to loves it. It's not like, usually with a product, you have some issues, but I've never heard a bad thing about it.
The simplicity, it's just
So
super easy to adjust. And yeah, if you haven't seen my video, check out my video on it on my channel, Milsurp Duo. So we did a nice in-depth review of it. But other than that, yeah, they did a good job on that one. It's incredible. So
yeah, so yeah, awesome. Where's the Killian swag? Oh, it's right back here. See, it's still in the same spot. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's kind of dumb, but right back there. See, still in the same spot. The new landlords are not keen on me putting more holes in the walls, so unfortunately, the Killian's board won't get put up until I own a house. So, but maybe I can figure out a way to prop it up somewhere. I think I have a bookshelf that's buried back there and all that crap. So maybe we'll have to look into that.
How's the search going?
Painfully slow.
Painfully.
I'm
slow.
trying to sell my truck, but I'm not having any luck with that right now. So
you can't sell a truck right now?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. So, for those of you who are watching the chat and looked at the screen, and you're watching this live, today is October 25th, and that code is only good for October 25th, 2022. So, sorry if you're watching this replay later, but you missed out. So
watch the show live.
Yep. But anybody got any shout outs other than for EP Integrations?
Nope.
Bueller. So once again, shout out to Chris Hodgdon. Thanks for coming on, especially when he was on vacation. So that was really nice. Thanks to EP Integrations once again for the code for the live listeners. And on that note, keep your brass shiny.
Keep your powder dry.
jump on the Milsurp short bus.
Grandpa told me not to listen to my mama. He said that violence does solve problems.
And remember, even though Jim left early, support Second Amendment. For those of you who are familiar with Adam Kraut, he ran for NRA board a few years ago, but he's been really active, at least for last 10 years in the Second Amendment fight. He is now joined the Second Amendment Foundation. So it's exciting to see him there. He is a litigator and 2A advocate. Pretty awesome guy. I got to know him when he was running for NRA board back in Indian the previous couple of years. So, yeah. So, I mean, if you're not a life member of Second Amendment Foundation, you should be. It's not much money. So, but it's a great organization to support. They primarily focus on litigation. So obviously they need all the funds they can get. So, but also there's a lot of other good organizations out there. There's a couple of bad ones. One of them used to be decent and now is crap. So, pretty sure everybody who watches the show knows who that is. As soon as there's a massive leadership change, then I'm pretty sure it'll improve. So, but yeah, do your homework. Don't just because somebody sends you an email saying, hey, send us money, we support the Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. Do your homework. Find out what they're doing to support the Second Amendment. And what their true stance is. What does the Second Amendment really mean to them? Does it mean that, oh, well, we'll give you bump stocks if you let us have blah, 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 that type of thing. Or do they believe it really says what it says? So, and I can't tell you personally how to feel, how to act, about how to vote. I can tell you my personal opinions, but I can definitely tell you, make sure you vote. Lord willing, this will be posted before then. Jason and Chris have just been going like gangbusters doing editing. In fact, while the interview was going with Chris, I actually posted 3 podcasts. So gives you an idea of how busy they've been. So that's 5 podcasts in 3 days I've posted now. Wow. So
nice.
Yeah. Well, it's thanks to you and Chris, Jason, and your kid helping out. So
that kid doesn't do anything, Mike.
Isn't he supposed to be supplying the pizza and the beer for this?
You'd think so.
Yeah.
He's probably passed out from crushing the wine or crushing the grape. Kathy was out there with the bullwhip. Get them grapes crushed.
Yep. Ew, barefoot. Ugh.
Mama needs some wine. No, I heard he was in Wonder Bread bags.
Yeah, okay.
So it's all good. Like we used to do when we were kids, inside our boots. Keep your feet dry. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Bread bags. Keeping your feet dry since 1953. Anyway, on that note, gang, make sure you reach out if you're struggling. 988 or 1-800-273-8255. There's trained professionals there to help and to get you lined up with more people that if you're struggling, mental health is no joke. It's no laughing matter. It's a serious issue. And we need to take it seriously. And if you know somebody struggling, support them. Lift them up, help them out. Obviously, you can't make somebody do something they don't want to do, but just be there with them. And maybe it's just as simple as sitting there with them, watching a TV show or something like that for a couple hours, or maybe it's as much as, literally talking them off a bridge, that you got to do what you got to do. So, but we want to try and keep everybody here. But like I said, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Make sure you reach out. Thanks again, everyone.
Good night, everybody.